I know I may be a little bit late to the game with this one, but I am so happy I came across a bottle of this and finally added to the collection because the hype is real with Missoni Wave. So let's review it now. Hey, what's going on? Hunter here and welcome back to my channel. And if you are new, what I do is I make fragrance related content. So if you love fragrances, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below and also be sure to follow my fragrance Instagram page as well. But today we're gonna be reviewing one of the most hyped up cheapies as of late. Of course, I'm talking about Missoni Wave. And wow, this one, like I said, has been getting so much hype. I did pass up on this maybe a year ago when I came across it at TJ Maxx. Right around like the peak of the hype of this fragrance, even though it's still talked about quite a bit nowadays. But just recently, maybe a month or two ago, I did finally come across it again and I had to scoop it up, especially at the prices you can find these at, which is around like 30, 35 bucks at your local discounters. Even though we are going into winter now, which this fragrance is not best suited for, I will still have this one in my collection, ready to go right when it starts warming up. But for you guys that pretty much live in a warm climate all year round, man, this one you're gonna have to scoop up. So let's go over some information about Missoni Wave. So this fragrance was actually launched in 2020. It is a flanker to, I believe, Missoni Pour Homme, which I've never smelled. I have seen a few people talk about it, but it did not get the hype that this fragrance got. Now for retail, this actually goes for 85 bucks for the 100 ml bottle, which I believe they actually sell these at like Macy's and stuff like that. Even though the Missoni brand I haven't really heard of, to be honest with you, I don't know what they do. I know obviously they're the designer brand, but I don't know what they're known for. Concentration is an eau de toilette and the perfumer is Christopher Renard. I'm not really familiar with his creations or anything like that or his background, but he is the nose behind Missoni Wave. So with all that information out of the way, let's go and look at the packaging and presentation you will get with this fragrance now. So taking a look at this box, it does have a nice kind of design too with that blue as well. Of course, Missoni Wave, Eau de Toilette Pour Homme, 100 ml bottle. On the bottom, you will have your barcode and batch code to authenticate your product and see when it was produced. And then nothing on the sides or the back, but you do have Missoni right there as well, kind of like their logo. All in all, the box is pretty like your standard designer packaging, nothing to write home about. Let's look at the bottle now. So taking a look at this bottle, I gotta say that this bottle is actually very impressive. Of course, you have the Missoni cap with the logo on the top. And this is actually a magnetic cap that's actually extremely heavy and weighted. As you can see, you can't pick it up by the cap, which is always nice, so it's sturdy. On the bottom, you will have your sticker with some information. Nothing on the back, but guys, this thick glass is so heavy, so like of quality, and you really wouldn't expect that, especially at the prices you can find these at. But all in all, the bottle is very well done. In the top, you have C notes, mandarin, and citruses. And in the middle, you have lavender, clary sage, rosemary, and pelargonium. And of course, in the base, you have vanilla orchid, vetiver, patchouli, and oak moss. And this fragrance will be classified as a fresh aquatic. So let's go and spray the atomizer on the test strip and test out the distribution. Very nice distribution, guys. This stuff sprays a ton of juice. So let's go ahead and smell this one and remind myself of the opening of Missoni Wave. So in the opening, it's extremely bright, very citrusy, but you also kind of get this salty seawater aquatic accord that is so well done, man. What's also standing out alongside that aquatic C notes is that mandarin. Now, this fragrance does resemble Chanel Allure Homme Sport Eau Extreme a lot, but I gotta tell you right now, I prefer this over Chanel Allure Homme Sport. I know that might be shocking. That one is very sought after, but I'm not a fan of that fragrance at all. It pretty much takes everything I don't like about Allure Homme Sport and puts everything I like about that DNA into Missoni Wave. I absolutely love this fragrance. I did wear it maybe like twice since I've got it, but now not so much because it's so cold. But the two times that I did wear this one and test it, it always put a smile on my face. And I just cannot believe that you can get these for 35 bucks at your local rack stores. That is mind blowing. Like I said, if you come across this, you have to pick it up, especially if you like kind of aquatic, citrus focused fragrances with some aromatic qualities as well too. Aromatic notes is exactly what makes its way through once you get your way into that mid with that lavender, the clary sage, the rosemary. Now, if you know me, I'm not the biggest fan of sage. Luckily, the sage is toned down in this one behind that lavender note. That lavender note, however, is very kind of like a little bit spicy, which I really enjoy a lot. And then you do get that rosemary, which gives it a little bit of a minty touch. All in all, a phenomenal composition with that aquatic, the citruses, that aromatic quality, the spiciness, that mintiness from the rosemary. And that's just all happening within around the hour after you spray this one, because it starts to dry down sort of fast. You're not really left with that aquatic opening for so long. So if you're not the biggest fan of aquatics, because sometimes aquatics can definitely go the wrong route. Luckily though, in this one, it definitely is well done. It doesn't smell like a wet dog or anything like that. I know sometimes it can come across like so, but yeah, I absolutely am enjoying the top and the mid. Once you make your way into the base, and by the way, this fragrance is pretty complex for being a freshie aquatic, which is surprising, but in the base, you are left with this kind of earthy patchouli and oak moss combined together. Obviously, patchouli is one of my favorite notes. The patchouli in here, however, I mean, it's not that dominant. It's not that prominent of a note alongside that oak moss, which does stand out a little bit more, which is not a complaint for me either. I love oak moss. The greenness, the earthiness. It just has a very kind of a masculine dry down. That vetiver and that vanilla orchid, which is a little bit creamy. The vetiver, however, does have a kind of a wet aspect about it. It's a little bit like a wet vetiver rather than that dry, grassy vetiver. From the top to the base, all in all, a phenomenal creation. Like I said, I prefer this over Allure Homme Sport. So if you like that scent profile, you like that DNA, you don't want to spend like 130 bucks plus, you absolutely have to get this one. I just don't see myself reaching for Allure Homme Sport anymore after having this one. Allure Homme Sport is a fragrance that I just never really got along with. It made it in my, I think like a video I made of fragrances I dislike, and a lot of people, you're like, whoa, how do you dislike that one? Just for me, never liked it. This one, I absolutely adore and love. All right, so let's go over seasons and occasions best for Missoni Wave. Now, for seasons, obviously this is gonna be best for like the spring and summertime, hence the name, hence the aspects of it, the notes and what have you. I can definitely see being able to pull this one off during the fall time also, just because of those aromatic qualities and that dry down being earthy, grassy, and green. Definitely pulls off in the fall. The winter though, no, you do not want to wear this one in the winter, but at the end of the day, you can wear a fragrance whenever you like, just not the best suited for that kind of scenario. Now for occasion, this is 100% a casual targeted fragrance, perfect for like running errands, going out to maybe the beach in the summer, just doing like spring and warmer activities, that kind of thing. It's perfect for. Maybe going to the gym, it's perfect for. It's not so much suited for like going to work, at an office, a wedding, a date night, nothing like that. This is definitely a daytime fragrance, not an evening fragrance. So yeah, more so on the casual side. So for gender and age groups, this is definitely a male targeted creation. Obviously with those aromatic qualities, the citruses, and that kind of earthy, grassy dry down. And for age groups though, this is 100% a youthful fragrance. It's not mature. I don't really see anyone in like their 30s and up enjoying this one. It's more suited for like teenagers, if you're in high school, if you're going to college, that kind of age groups. Definitely more so like 25 and below is where this one is targeted for. For performance of Missoni Wave. Now, I did see a lot of people hype this one up saying it's a beast mode fragrance. It lasts all day. No complaints whatsoever. Me, however, on my skin, I got around average performance from it. It's not above average, it's not nuclear or anything like that. And I really wouldn't expect a bomb of a fragrance, especially being fresh and aquatic. But for me, I got maybe close to 8 hours of longevity on skin, which is more than plenty. Nothing above 8 hours. After around the 8-hour mark, it's really disappearing from your skin. You have to actually like dig your nose into your arm or wherever you sprayed it to get a slight whiff of it. But the projection, however, was actually very solid. This one projected heavy off my skin, maybe around like a few feet or so for around 3 to 4 hours. So the projection was nice, and I think that's because of those sharp aromatic, the sharp citruses that just work perfectly off of the skin, especially if you're sweating and your skin is heating up. this one performs magically, but about average performance, but no complaints at all. That's gonna do it for my review of this hyped up cheapie fragrance. Let me know down below if you've actually ever smelled this one, if you have it in your collection, if you're on the hunt for it, and what are your opinions on this one if you haven't got your nose on it. But that's gonna do it for me. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you guys haven't already, and I'll see all you guys here in my next fragrance upload. Take care, everybody.